Time is a trick. I want to share this wonderful success story from a client who submitted this via email, and she is a TheRoseyLife subscriber. And I love this story so much because it shows, without even her being aware, that she jumped timelines and she bent time in her favor to get what she wanted on perfect timing. So stick with me. You're going to love the story. I love it. So hello and welcome. My name is Rose and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you live a life that you love. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can go to TheRoseyLife.com. The information is below, or you can join the Rosey Life course and community. And that is more of a group, and I show up every single week answering live questions. All right, so let's get to it. So I love this story because it was such a sweet story. Just a very sweet, innocent, very short email with her success story. And I'm not even sure if she realizes that how she's so powerful, and she was jumping around in different timelines to get what she wanted. And I looked at her story, and at first I was like, I almost missed something, but then I went back and read it, and then I saw it, and that is the jumping of the timelines. And that's what I want to talk to you, because I know a lot of you, especially clients that I'm working with now, or many of you subscribers are really concerned about the length of time that something has been, that it's been this amount of time, that it's taking this long time, that you really fixated on time, holidays, birthdays, calendar years, time on the calendar, all of those things, and you're thinking, well, the longer it takes, the less likely it is for you to have it. That's a belief. And ask yourself, do you have that belief that if it takes longer, that means I'm not going to get it, or that it's less likely that this could happen? Because right there, you are choosing to believe in that linear time belief, that time is so important that you got to catch it and you got to get ahead of it. That is a very old 3D way of thinking. So who we are is irrelevant of time. Time is a belief that we choose to play with. We use time to enjoy things, right? Like Abraham Hicks says so many times, right? She says, you wouldn't want to eat all the food that you knew you're going to eat in a lifetime in one sitting. No, she says, because you would just not enjoy it. So this is why we have time to enjoy any manifestation that we create or choose to have in our experience. And that is why we experience time. But to worship time and to be afraid of time and to keep pointing out time, that is pointless, because there is nothing there for you. You're just manifesting and creating the feeling of lag, the feeling of this is frustrating, that it's been this much time, that it's been that much time. And then you watch success stories about that person got an instant success story in 24 hours, in 1 hour, in 2 hours, 3 weeks, in 2 months, or whatever. And then you start comparing yourself and you start asking yourself if you're doing something wrong. I really encourage you, and my intention in this video is to really start shifting around your belief in time so that you let that go. Don't let time be a player in your game. All right, eliminate this player from your game. Notice that player is there, but it doesn't threaten your desires. It doesn't threaten the unfolding of your desires. It doesn't have a hand. It doesn't have a say-so in what you get. All right, so this client, she's actually not a client. She's just a Rosey Life subscriber. And so far, right? But she wrote in her email to me that she started looking for a job. She wanted a remote job that required her to have a laptop. And so she shared with me that what she had been doing, right? She said, I'm looking for a remote job. Well, this is what most people do when they think of manifesting, okay? So her aim, her goal, her end scene is a remote job. Notice there's nothing in here about what she needs. This is the desire, okay? But as she got involved in in applying for jobs and looking for remote work, different things came up, like a laptop. She was told that she needs a certain kind of laptop with a certain kind of camera quality and speed and all that good stuff, right? So she started getting really stuck in all the details of the how she would be able to qualify for a job. And all she ever had to do was declare that she has this job. Okay, so this is what most people do, and this is what I drew here. This is like you when you first decide, okay, I want something, right? And then the little bubbles here show job and laptop, because now she associated that if she doesn't have a laptop, then she can't get a job. So she started creating this condition in order to get the remote job that she would have to have a laptop. All she had to do was stay in the end, okay? So she created a condition that the laptop was necessary for the job. Well, she didn't have a laptop. Okay, so we're going to come back to this in a second. So what happens is, months prior, however, she had a laptop and she had taken an old laptop for repairs because something was wrong with it. But she was told it was not worth repairing. She was told that it was going to be way too expensive, way more than the laptop was even worth, to not even bother. And she dropped it off anyway, and she was like, well, this is a waste of time. Why? And she's like, I just said she didn't have the money to repair it. Okay, so she's up here, I want a job, I need a laptop. And then now she's thinking, oh my God, she's like, now I have a desire. All right, and then now this is what most of you do. You have a desire, and then you think now you got to wait, that this is the time, right? There's time in between your desire and the outcome of, I got the laptop and I got the job, right? No, this is what most people do. They have an imaginal act, or they make an assumption, and they sit around and wait, thinking that this is on its way, this is gonna come, that this is gonna happen, that something is causing everything to happen. They don't think that this is inside of them, right? That you think that there's time, that there's all this time lag that has to happen before you get your stuff. And actually, it's the opposite. But let's get back to the story, and we're gonna jump back up here again. So she actually ended up getting an interview for a job. And she said, I started panicking because I did not know what to do. So now she's been manifesting, and she's saying, I have a job, I want a job, but she knew she didn't have a laptop. And they reached out to her for an interview, knowing very well that she was going to need a laptop. And she knew she didn't have one. She knew she didn't have the money for one. And the one that she had taken months ago to repair was broken. However, she said last minute, they called the people that she had dropped this computer months ago to. They called her and said, it's ready, and it's only $30 for the repair. So what happened here? So I don't want you guys to miss what is going on here. Okay, so what happened here? First thing is, before she was even looking for a job, she had taken an old laptop for repairs. She was told that it wasn't working and that it wasn't worth repairing, okay? She had basically just forgotten about it and kissed that computer goodbye. But then she gets contacted for an interview for a job, and then she starts panicking because she realizes she doesn't have a computer. She even mentioned in her email that she contacted a friend or somebody else that maybe they would lend her a laptop so she can do the interview and pass it and then figure it out after that. She didn't have to do any of that. She started going along with what was in front of her. She started playing along that she didn't have a laptop by asking other people, let me borrow one. Do you see? She just kept going. However, I love this scripture, and this is in Isaiah 65:24, and I've quoted this many times before. Before they call, I will answer. I love that scripture. Before they call, I will answer. Before she called, before the job called her for an interview, before she even took that old computer for repairs, before all of that, I will answer. I answered. So your I am, God, answered answered her before she even applied for a job, before she even took that computer for repairs, before those people called her for an interview. She was answered. Do you see how? Do you see how that happened? Because she decided what she wanted, okay? And in that moment, she decided, I want a remote job. That was already answered. The job was answered, and that included all the means necessary for her to have that job, which is why out the last minute, she was contacted and said, your computer is ready and it's only $30. So this is what she did with jumping the timelines, is she had no idea that several months past, her inspired action to drop that laptop off was going to be something that I am utilized for her, because she couldn't foresee this happening. But your I am, our higher self, sees it all, sees everything from that aerial view, okay, from that bird's eye view, sees everything in advance, is answered before we even ask for it, before the words come out of our mouth. We are answered. We are already given everything we want. We just can't see it. So when she was inspired to drop that computer off, she had no idea. She had no idea that what she was doing was setting herself up, because she was going to get an interview months later for a remote job, and that computer was going to be utilized to give her something to use for her interview. And she even said, I am emailing you from that new laptop. She said, now it's almost like new. She says, after that small repair, she said, it's practically new. So, and I love A Course in Miracles. It says, time is a trick, a sleight of hand, a vast illusion. I love that so much. I love how A Course in Miracles talks about time. It's so funny and spot on. It's so direct. But think about it. It's a trick, right? It's a sleight of hand, kind of like card dealers in this casinos. Like, they go so fast, right? You just like, you're like, you can't keep up, because it's a trick. It feels like, now let's go back up here. It feels like you have a desire and you have an imaginal scene, or you create an assumption, or you script it, or whatever you do, right? It feels like when you have a desire that you're like, okay, now what do I do? And this right here is where people get antsy, and they get frustrated and desperate, and they start coach hopping, and they start channel hopping, and they start reading books, and then they start self-concept and more affirmations. They start pushing the gas, basically. They start trying to hit it harder, thinking that if I hit the gas harder, that I can speed this up. You cannot force the hand of God. You can't be faster. There's nothing you can possibly do to be faster than who you really are, the I am. Everything that you desire, everything that you want is already yours. This is what A Course in Miracles calls a trick, a sleight of hand. This part right here is the trick, because when you have a desire, just like Neville says, to desire something is to have it. Meaning the moment you desire it, okay, the moment you desire it, you have it immediately. It's already yours, instantly, in that moment. But this trick, this time trick, right, is what so many people get sucked into, and they try to figure out, how do I stay in the wish fulfilled? How do I always feel like that is mine? How do I remain here? How do I stop paying attention to time? How do I handle the 3D? How do I talk to people in 3D? How do I handle this situation? How do I handle that situation? But the 3D showing me this, because you're getting sucked in to this trick, this illusion, this trick of time. Remember, it's time. I want you to switch it around. That time is something that you get to use as a tool to enjoy. It is not something that you are not conditioned, or your process or your technique or whatever you use, your imagination, your scripting or SATs or whatever you use. Time is not a requirement for those things. Time is not a requirement for you to feel like it's okay. Time is not a requirement for you to pretend that you don't see it or you don't feel it. You don't have to ignore it. You don't have to entertain it. Time is an indifferent topic. Because if you keep looking at the clock, you keep looking at the calendar, how many days, you're going to see evidence. You're going to have coaches, channels, YouTube videos, people saying, well, if it's been this long, then you must be doing something wrong. Well, if it's been this long, I do everything like this. I do everything in 24 hours, so I don't know what you're doing. And now you're chasing time. Now you're chasing the fastest way to do it. Now you're chasing, why? Because you don't want to sit and be uncomfortable with this feeling temporarily. I was sitting and I went to a yoga class this morning, and it was so funny because I was like, if in yoga, if you're in a pose and you keeping up with the teacher, changing different poses, right? And if you start thinking about other things other than where your foot is, your arm is, and where your gaze is, right? If you start thinking about stuff outside of what's happening in that moment, you are going to fall over. You are going to fall over. It's like focus is required to be in that now moment. And when you're busy thinking about other things and other things, right? This is where the mind goes crazy and thinking about time. So time, if you notice in those classes that I go to, are pretty intense and they're hour long, and time goes by like that. Why? Because it's so in the now. The more that you're in the present, because this is really all we are. We are a present moment. We're the eternal now. There is nothing else but the eternal now. So when you are in thinking of the past or you're thinking of the future, you're not in the eternal now. You think that you are, but you're not. You're thinking and you're feeling, and that is not in the now, because in the now, there's not a lot of thinking and not a lot of feeling going on. I really want you to practice this. When you're truly in the present, you will be able to notice and observe thoughts. You can observe feelings, okay, but it's happening as the observer from the eternal now. So just like that, you notice if you're having fun, time goes by really fast as well, because you're not sucked up into looking and staring at time. So I intend this video is helpful for you guys, and that you guys really just start loosening up this belief about time being the end all be all, because just like this client, she didn't even know. That's the cool part. She didn't even know that she was taking inspired actions months before, setting herself up. It was all part of the unfolding. Her desire was all part of the unfolding months before she even got that interview call, right? She had already been taking inspired action without knowing, and that is inspired action. You don't know what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's why so many people say just go with the flow. Just do what feels natural. Do what feels good. Bashar says always do the thing that excites you the most in every moment. And when that thing doesn't excite you and that you blood that out, basically the excitement's run out from that moment, then go do something else that excites you. And it doesn't have to be like bungee jumping and airplane or flying or whatever. It can be simple things. It could be going for a walk, drinking a cup of coffee, watching a show, constantly saying, what do I want to do next? What excites me more? The next moment, the next moment, the next moment, the next moment, because that's how you keep yourself in the now. Remember, there's only eternal now, and she jumped through different timelines without even knowing, and she ended up getting what she wanted. All right, my loves, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to The Rosey Life. And I'm having a tongue twister day for some reason, but it's all good. All right, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate your love and support. Like always, you're freaking amazing. I'll see you soon. Bye.